Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Search to Sold, 4 tips on retailing from afar and reopening, presented by Podium. My name is Samantha, and I'm the managing editor for Jewelry Business. This webinar comes, of course, at a rather unprecedented time. The impact of COVID-19 has been felt at brick and mortar retail locations across Canada, leaving many independent jewelers wondering what's next for their business. To that end, today's presentation will discuss strategies for how you can manage customer journeys from initial search to final sale digitally. Our speakers will offer simple steps and key takeaways for digital marketing, exploring everything from optimizing to increase online lead flow, to social media communication, to collecting payments via text messaging. And just as a general note to everyone who's attending today, your mics are muted. That said, please post questions for our presenters in the Q&A forum. We'll be addressing them at the end of the presentation. And if you have any technical issues as we get going, you can use the chat feature to communicate with us, and we'll do our best to help you out. Today's slide presentation and our speaker's audio is being recorded, so we can provide you with the material afterward. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speakers from Podium, Jason A. Ilona, who is head of the company's retail division and has extensive experience in digital marketing, as well as helping businesses set up customer experience, and Haley Sontag, a demand gen specialist with experience in social media management, market research, product development, public relations, and advertising. So before I hand things over, we are going to kick off with a little poll to see more about who's in attendance today. So what best describes your company's operation? Are you an independent jewelry or watch retailer, a chain mass merchandising jewelry or watch dealer, a gemologist or appraiser, jewelry designer, goldsmith or craftsman, or something else in the profession? I'll give everyone a second to answer. Everybody's in the other category today. Okay. So this will be great. Without further ado, I'm going to hand things over to Jason and Haley. Please take it away.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We are really excited to be here today and talk about this topic. As everyone knows, a lot of things have changed in the entire world in the last few months. So we're going to talk briefly on that, but we really want to focus today on tips that can help your business both through, obviously, these times of global pandemic. Can you hear me? Sorry about that. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you. Can anyone hear me? Samantha, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Haley?
Yes, I can hear you, Jason.
Haley?
I think we can hear. I think we can hear each other, but they can't hear us. Haley
Seem to be having some technical problems right now.
I can hear all of you. I think Sam's having problems, but keep going.
Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Yeah. So what we were saying is we really hope that these tips here on this webinar can help you both during this time and also after the pandemic. You know, once things go back to quote unquote normal. So. We hope that these help you. And just before we begin, like Sam was saying, my name is Haley Sontag. I'm on the marketing team here, and I'm joined by Jason A. Ilona. He is our expert in all things retail and specifically with jewelers. So we're really excited to have him here with us today and hear his experiences that he's had with jewelers that he's worked with. He works with hundreds of jewelers across the US and Canada. So he'll bring a lot of insight today. And with that, I'm actually going to turn it over to Jason to start us off.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. I appreciate that introduction. I appreciate being on this call as well. Very thankful for kind of the industry that I'm in. I love retail, specifically jewelry. I've been working in the jewelry side for a long time. Principally started here in the United States, moved up to Canada as well a couple of years ago, but I just enjoy the opportunity to work with jewelers. I love this presentation today. We're going to make it short. We're going to make it precise, and hopefully you can take good information and use it today to move forward to improve your business, whatever business you guys may have. But, you know, first and foremost, there's something that we have to address is, look, we got to adjust to the new normal, right? What we're facing today. because a lot of things have changed in the past few months, right? And will continue to change as we prepare for a life where this whole social distancing becomes the new norm. What's going to happen today? We have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow, nor do we know what's going to happen in the next few months with the COVID-19 pandemic we're facing. One thing we do know is that we got to act like this is the new normal. We can't hide, we can't shelter, we got to adapt, right, and survive. Now, as people look to limit the number of face-to-face interactions they have in public, all businesses will experience impacts. That's just the bottom line. Now, in order to keep businesses moving forward, local and also offline businesses will need to adjust to consumers who will want and need that online experience, right? Because that's the new normal. Now, interestingly, before this current events even happened, consumer communication was already shifting, was already changing, where the mass majority of people, nearly 90% of them, wanting to have the ability to interact with customers via messaging platforms like SMS, Facebook Messenger, Apple Business Chat, Google Click to Chat. 90% of people already wanted the ability to interact with businesses this way, okay? So it's something that has been happening before this pandemic hit. This pandemic just put a shot in the arm in it, and we need to understand that we need to adapt to this, okay? Because new businesses or businesses that we all love and enjoy, like Amazon and Uber, they've already adapted this way. We have to adapt as well. Businesses that take time and learn to communicate with their customers and help them navigate this online journey will be the ones that will come up on top. Okay, and that's the bottom line. Now, I do have a quick poll question for you. What has your store changed since COVID-19? Okay, what have you guys done differently since the COVID-19 pandemic hit? I would love for you in the chat section, the Q&A section, if you could just write down some things. What have you changed since COVID-19? I'll give you a few seconds.
Yeah, and if everyone wants to just put that in the Q&A section, we'll be able to see those there. And while people are answering, obviously it's been different for every industry. It's been different for every business within one industry. It could be anything from you've been less busy to you've been more busy, you've had less inventory, more inventory, you've had to change the way that how things look inside your store. Maybe you've moved more digital. We would love to hear from everyone on here kind of what your store has done. It looks like we've got some coming in.
Awesome, I love this one. Keeping our clients engaged through enhanced communication, update of new products, home delivery services, etc. Great, absolutely love that, right? You have to keep your clients engaged through communication. Let them understand, hey, we have new products, we have new services, right? Now it's important to understand how are we communicating this with our customers, which is going to be super important. Thank you for sharing that, Hussein. Awesome. Okay, let's move on to the next slide here, Haley. One thing to keep in mind is customer experience will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator by the year of 2020, right? Now, this is a quote from Walker Consulting. Delivering a good customer experience is becoming more and more important, and it will surpass both price and product as the key differentiator, okay? Especially when consumers are using when they're making a purchasing decision. Now, even with all that has gone on in the world the past few weeks, customers are still valuing, that experience. But your business may have to offer that experience slightly different than they did in the past. Okay. Once again, customers still want that customer experience, but they're not coming into your store anymore, right? You can't just have that smile on your face. You can't provide cookies and coffee. They can't come in as often as they used to before. Okay. So we're going to have to adapt, right? We're going to have to offer that experience slightly different. So let's take a look at what good customer service looks like today. And it includes these three things. Okay. Now, like I said, as social distancing becomes the norm, it's going to be more and more important for offices, for jewelry stores to make the customer experience convenient, frictionless, and efficient. Okay, once again, those are the three things we're going to be talking about: convenience, frictionless, and efficient. okay? Even if these interactions aren't happening in person. They have to have these three concepts. You can make interactions convenient, first off, by meeting customers and clients where they are, which is increasingly online or on their phones. Make it convenient for them. Once they find you, you have to make the process frictionless by making it easier for potential or current clients to connect with you once they find you online. Whenever they have a question, or even if they need to pay you, right? 90% of customers prefer texting to a traditional forms of communication. So finding a way to open up messaging for all your customer communications needs will help it make this as painless as possible. Okay, so convenient, right? Find your customers where they are. Frictionless. Make it super easy for your client to communicate with you, preferably through messaging. And finally, you have to make it efficient. The whole experience needs to be easy and efficient. Customers tend to take the path of least resistance. We know that. Today, with how technology has changed the customer journey, the path of least resistance is usually pulling out their phones and searching for a business online. Every one of us has that $1,000 computer in our front pocket. When we search for something, we pull that thing out and we go to the path of least resistance. Is that path your store, or is it not? When I think of these three things, convenient, frictionless, and efficient, I think Amazon, okay? Whether you like Amazon or not, or whether you shop on Amazon or not, they have raised the bar for your store, okay? Because once someone experiences Amazon and how convenient and frictionless and efficient it is, they actually require all stores, or most customers want that from most stores, right? So it is affecting you. For example, just the other day, I had to order something through Amazon. I literally talked to my Alexa, told Alexa to order it while I was sitting on my couch, and 2 days later, via Prime, it showed up to my door. Talk about convenience, frictionless, and efficient. Now, I'm not saying you need to go to that length. I'm saying you have to meet your customers where they are. Once they find you, you got to make it frictionless to communicate with you. If the only way to communicate with you is through a phone call, or if it's through a contact us tab on your website, it's not very efficient. Okay, it's painful. And once they finally find you, you got to make it efficient to do business. Okay, that's what good customer experience looks like today. Especially, like I said, with this whole COVID-19 pandemic, where customers can't come in the store, you got to make it convenient for them. Okay, so to set this up, let's look at what a general customer journey could look like. You have two different types of a journey: the pre-purchase part, also the post-purchase side. Okay, as you look at this customer journey, each step along this journey is an opportunity for a customer to drop out, resulting in loss of revenue, or to drop out and go to your competitor, or to drop out and go shop online, right? At Blue Nile or Costco or Walmart, right? There's three different phases: the discovery phase, the consideration phase, and the resolve concern phase on the pre-purchase side. If you get those down, they will make a purchase from you, but also you're not done. You got to get the fulfillment side, the advocacy side as well, okay? And then to re-engage as well. Okay, so it's important, right? Every step of this journey, customers can drop out, resulting in loss of revenue, right? Now think about your business itself. How many of these currently rely on that in-person interaction for your business? Okay, think of that for a second. In order to find you, do they have to come in person? Or consider your products, do they have to do it face-to-face? What about when you resolve their concerns? Do you have to see them, or can you do it more efficiently over messaging or videos, right? So understand each point is a friction. You got to reduce that friction in order for customers to come into your store.
And this is a really great slide here. With going over the entire customer journey, it is a good visualization of where you can move things digital, where you can make things more convenient, frictionless, and efficient, those three things Jason talked about, where you can make the journey better for your customers and also for your business. We'll actually bring this slide back at the end of the webinar, so hopefully you can have some ideas and think of some things that your business can do to move whatever aspect of this that currently relies on in-person, how you can move that digital. So this is where our 4 tips start. We want to go over 4 ways that you can take these touch points, these stages in the journey, and move them digital. The first one here is focus on the online experience. This is the first step in the phase. The customer has a problem, say they have an anniversary coming up, or they are looking to get engaged, or they just want to give, Valentine's Day, they want to give a gift to someone, they want to purchase a piece from you. What they're most likely going to do is pull out that, like Jason said, $1,000 computer that they have in their pockets at all times and search on Google for jewelry business near me, jewelry store near me, or jewelry store in Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where we're based here. But 89% of customers will begin their buying process with a search engine. That is a huge majority of people. When they have a problem, they are going to go online to find a business that's going to solve their problem. And if they can't find you, they're going to go to your competitor because they're looking for someone to solve their problem, and they're going to pick someone that can do that. You want to make sure that's your business. So we're going to talk about optimizing your online listing. We're specifically going to focus on Google, as that is the most preferred search engine for people. But what we talk about translates over to all search engines and different directory listings as well. You want to make sure you're easy to get found by customers. So one of the first tips we have here, and this is especially important right now during COVID-19, but it's crucial at all times. Give customers clear information. Give them the information that they are looking for. When they look for jewelry store near me and they see your business, are you open? Are you closed? What days are you open? Specifically with COVID-19, how have things changed? We highly recommend putting something on your Google My Business listing that says COVID-19 update, we're open. COVID-19 update, here's what's changed. This is what's different. This is how we're social distancing. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world right now. Things are changing day to day. There's more cases, things are closing, things are opening. There's a lot of uncertainty with what the future is going to look like. You want to take uncertainty out of doing business with you. You want to make it clear and concise and make sure you're calming customers' fears so that they know what to expect. This has happened several times during is with the chiropractor. So things started closing down here in Utah about the end of March, and I'd say maybe mid-April my back started hurting. I wanted to go to the chiropractor to get an adjustment. It's a simple thing. I always go to the same chiropractor, but I wasn't sure if they were open. I was even a return customer, and I was still Googling them to see if they were open. Well, it said that they were open, but it didn't say if anything had changed. It didn't say, it had the hours that were before COVID-19. It didn't say anything about a COVID-19 update, hours are the same, or please wear a mask, or our doctors will be wearing masks. Here's how things are different. There was so much uncertainty in it that I put it off for 2 months. I said, well, I don't want to deal with that right now. I'm just going to forget about it. And it was 2 months until I finally had to call them. They didn't have a texting option, or that wasn't online. I had to call them and say, are you open? And they said yes. And I had to ask them specifically, should I wear a mask? Are the doctors wearing masks? And I finally got those questions answered. But it took me 2 months. If a customer, maybe it's a potential customer, if they look on you online, are they going to go through all of that friction to choose you, or are they going to go to the next option that already has the information readily available? Odds are they'll probably go to the easiest option. the path of least resistance. So you definitely want to make sure you're updating your information. You want to make sure your information is up to date all the time, but especially now with COVID-19, depending on how often things are changing, you might need to update that daily. Make sure that you have the right information that customers are looking for. When you think about what customers see online, obviously they're going to see your store hours, your address, how things are different. Hopefully you've put all this information on your listing, but another huge component of what they see online is your online reviews. So Jason's actually going to take us through kind of the importance of online reviews and how that plays into getting found and getting chosen online.
Yes. Thanks, Haley. I appreciate that. I could talk about online reviews for an hour. I mean, the single most important thing I think you can do on a marketing standpoint is online reviews, right? And online reviews is just getting feedback from your customers. But the reason why online reviews are so important is because when it comes to SEO, which is the search engine optimization that Google uses, it plays the biggest part in how you're found. Okay? People want to go to places that have good online reviews because online reviews have a significant impact on whether your business is found and chosen. Nobody knows, like I said, that search ranking, but we do know it plays a huge determinant on where you rank on local search, okay? Obviously, your business star rating is important, but it isn't the only thing that matters, okay? When it comes to reviews, Google cares about these things right here. They care about 4 things mainly, which is recency, frequency, quality, and quantity, okay? They care about recent reviews. When customers go to look at a business's reviews, they want to see reviews within the week, hopefully within the day. That would be awesome. But if you have the most recent review 2 years ago, that doesn't say anything about your business. Okay, you want recent reviews. You want a lot of them, right? Frequency. You want them to come in. You want the quality to be there. 4 or 5, that high star rating. And like I mentioned, you want that quantity as well, like a lot of verbiage. These 4 things are what Google takes into account when it comes to online reviews. Now, the best way to ensure that you are meeting that criteria is by having some technology in place that streamlines that process. One really important part of this is asking every customer for a review and then making it really easy for them to leave one. Okay, I'll say that again, you have to ask every customer, and it's not soliciting reviews. You can put it in a way that's very, very nice, like, hey, thank you for coming in. We appreciate your business. Do you mind giving us some feedback on how we've done today? Right? We love it if we can leave us a quick review to give us some feedback, right? Now, like I said, most people are willing to leave reviews if asked, but a lot of the times, once they walk out your front door, right, their life moves on. And they actually won't do it. So what you'll tend to see is those who leave reviews tend to be unhappy customers, not happy customers. To eliminate that, you have to ask clients to leave reviews, and then you have to make it easier for them to do it. What we've done here at Podium is you can send a direct link through a text message to your customer's phone that they click on, and we'll put them right into your Google account to leave a review. While they're in the store, when they're the happiest, that's when you get the review from a customer. Okay, but why do reviews matter? Well, we know why it matters, because it increases business, hands down. As we take a look at the next slide, the impact of reputation on your business is significant when it comes to reviews. What you're seeing on your screen, these are jewelers, okay? We work with 3,000 jewelers. What you're seeing on here, this is Google My Business data, 60 days before they started with Podium. I'm sorry, it was 90 days before they started with Podium, and 90 days after they started with Podium. As you see, just because reviews, as their reviews increase, the clicks to call, which means they're calling the store 83% more than they did before. They're visiting your website 67% more than they did before. And their listing views increased by almost 52% more than it was just 90 days ago. And this is because of the impact of reviews. Take a look at your own shopping habits. If you order things online, let's go back to Amazon. There's so many products there, right? The only way to differentiate one product from the other is what customers are saying. So if customers are saying great things about the products online, you tend to buy it, especially if it's a good price. If there's a 3-star rating, you tend to stay away. It's the same thing. There's a lot of jewelers out there, a lot of ways to buy jewelry. We want to make sure your reviews are high so that people are seeing you more often and trusting your business by coming in because they know they're going to have a good experience. That's what online reviews will do for you. Okay, so it's important that you do that, especially because it increases clicks to call, gets more people to that website, listing views increase, and your revenue should increase as well.
And this slide really points out how having a great reputation online, being the #1 spot on Google, having great reviews that are high in quality, quantity, recency, and frequency, those 4 things, that's great. That's really only the first step. Put yourself in your customer's shoes. They can find you online, that's awesome. But if they can't connect with you, well, then their journey is going to stop. You need to find a way to make it really easy for them to keep going on their journey. And that brings us to step number 2, which is open and communicate in their preferred channels. Whether they are contacting you directly from your Google My Business listing, maybe they're finding you on Facebook or Instagram, maybe they're going to your website. You want to make sure that it's easy for them to communicate with you, resolve their concerns, ask questions, see what inventory you have on a way that's convenient for them. We actually have another poll question here. We want to know, everyone here that's on the line, what communication channel your business currently offers. So we'll launch that poll here. I can give you a few minutes or a few seconds to answer that. So maybe it's SMS messaging, maybe it's phone, email, social media, in person, physical mail. So you can click all of these that apply. We just want to know what communication channels you're currently offering for your customers. We'll maybe give, I don't know, 5 more seconds for that, see what the answers are, give you a few more seconds to vote. We want as many people to vote as possible. Okay, let's look at these results. It looks like in person and a physical mail. I think those were supposed to be one option. So I guess we're over 100, we're 150% on that, we'll say. Social media, email, phone, SMS messaging. So we've got a pretty good variety over here. It looks like in-person and physical mail are the #1 options there. We have this graph here that kind of shows the different channels that are open, the ones that we talked about. And there really are so many communication channels that customers have at their disposal, not just with working with businesses, but just in general. But as you can see here, businesses usually stop short with the channels that they offer. Maybe not people on this call. It looks like we still had a good portion that were offering social and SMS messaging to communicate with customers, but that's a lot of businesses don't. It's a mistake to not offer those. Phone and email, they're still great means of communication, and there are customers that prefer those methods. But if your business were to open up these other channels, you could capture a large majority of customers that do prefer messaging. Jason mentioned the stat earlier that 90% of customers prefer texting to traditional forms of communication. But how that translates to your business is about 67% of customers prefer to text their businesses. So 90% prefer texting in general, and about 2/3 of customers prefer texting with the businesses that they associate with. So your customers, they want to text you. And this could be texting, it could be SMS messaging, it could be social media, it could be on other messaging apps, but they love the convenience that messaging offers, and they want that when they're working with different businesses. So this is just businessing or just texting in general. We want to think about if they find you online on your Google My Business listing and they can text you from there, or they see your number, or they see you on Facebook. You want to make sure they can message you there. But another huge channel of messaging is if they click on your website, which is pretty likely a lot of times they'll end on your website. So you want to make it easy for them to connect with you.
For sure. And remember, the whole purpose of the reviews is to get people to actually visit your digital storefront, right, which is your website. They'll check it out. If they want to do business with you, we need to make it efficient, right, and convenient, efficient, and frictionless. Once they get to your website, you have to easily convert those website traffic into leads. Well, how do we do it? Okay. You need to optimize your website to make it as easy as possible for those visitors to connect with you. Now, if you think about your website, if the only way to get a hold of you is through a phone number or that contact us form that you have to put a name, phone number, and email and question and all that, you're losing business. You have to find a tool, like a web chat tool for your website that can make it easy for you to capture valuable lead information while also initiating a conversation through SMS text messaging, okay? Make it easy for your customers, and that can be on every one of your pages like that. Hey, you got a question? Text us here. It's there. At any point, they can click on it. They can communicate with you. You're making it convenient. You're making it frictionless, right? That's the best way to do it, okay? Especially as you get onto your website. I heard one of our jewelers say, hey, we're always, before they got into Podium, we're always greeting people when they come to our door, but no one's ever greeting anyone when they come to our website. Right, this thing is a perfect way to greet your online customers coming to your website. Hey there, have you any questions? Please text us here. Okay, which leads us up to the third point. Number 3 is to build relationships with your customers. Now think about which in-person interactions you could actually handle via text if you needed to. Okay, so let's jump into that a little bit. Now Haley's going to cover that one-on-one experience with us.
This is one of my favorite things to talk about with local businesses is creating a relationship with customers, because I always learn so much. That is one thing that local businesses are always have been and always will be really good at, creating a one-on-one experience and building that relationship with customers. Now, we talked earlier about Amazon, about some of these other quote unquote super giants, and the truth is they can do a lot with their revenue and their infrastructure, but local businesses have the advantage of being able to provide a one-on-one experience. They can have this conversation with potential or current customers where the customers are sending them pictures or sending them Pinterest boards of what they're looking at, what they're looking for, what they want to get. And you as a business can be sending them your inventory. Hey, here's something that's really similar. This is what we have in stock. You know, here are a few options where you can send those via messaging, especially right now where people may be weary of going out. You can continue to provide that great and tailored experience for customers, even when foot traffic is low. We've seen companies use text to schedule and confirm appointments, which may become even more necessary if you do have a limited or a capacity, a smaller capacity that you're allowing in the store. You can answer questions, resolve concerns, you can close deals via messaging. You can do all of these things over messaging, so you can continue to provide them that local business experience even when you're not in person. And we've been talking about a lot of these different channels. There are so many channels that a customer can prefer to communicate with, and those are continuing to grow, and there'll probably be more and more and more in the future. And that can seem overwhelming to have to log into each of these separately, to log in, say, every 15 minutes to Facebook, and then to Instagram, and then to Google My Business, to have maybe a separate cell phone that's having SMS messages come in, to check the email, and that can take up a lot of time. And we've talked about how you need to make this journey convenient, frictionless, and efficient for your customers. But the truth is that you can focus and make it convenient, frictionless, and efficient for your business as well, which will in turn make it convenient, frictionless, and efficient for your customers. And we've talked about technology. Technology has revolutionized the customer journey and changed it for the customer. So your business can and should also be leveraging technology to keep up with those, to make it convenient for you, to save you time, to save you money, while still making it convenient for your customer. So one way you can do that, and this is just one example of technology that can help, but to find a product, a software, and with all transparency, Podium does do this, but whether it's Podium or something else, finding something that can bring all of these different channels, you know, however many you have open, maybe it's 7 different channels open or whatever it is, bring them all into one inbox so that you can respond to them easily on the customer's preferred channel, but makes it convenient for you as well. So that's just one example of technology that can help you with this, but we highly recommend finding something to help to manage all of this so that it doesn't become overwhelming for you, which will in turn make it less convenient for your customers. And we want to focus, the last way that we have here, we just wanted to focus on one use case for messaging that we feel is really important right here or right now with everything going on, and that's with collecting payments via text or app. There are a lot of different uses for messaging, and I'm sure we could spend another 2 hours talking about all of them individually, but we really just wanted to focus on this one right here because right now with COVID-19, there's a lot of a weariness around physical proximity and physical touch. And so people are concerned about handing a credit card over to you, having you swipe it, and then having you hand that back, or being close to you and having that physical proximity. So one way that you can help alleviate that is through collecting payments via text or app.
Yes, and let's take a quick step back here for just a second and kind of think about what we've been talking about this afternoon, right? Making it convenient, efficient, and frictionless from the beginning. That starts with getting good online reviews, right? Once those online reviews hit, people will start to look at your store. Once they look at your store, they can communicate with you guys via messaging or on their preferred platform. Once they do that, you resolve their concerns. Customer finally makes the choice to do business with you. The last thing to do is collect payment. Now, typically, you'd have to come into the store, swipe their card, and do a payment. But there's things out there that will allow you to take payments via text, okay, which is super sleek, super easy, as you can see on the screen. It's fast, right? We've seen with our jewelers that they get payments super quick, outstanding invoices, whatever it may be on repairs. But one thing we do know is with the limited amount of face-to-face interactions, you have to find a way to continue business going forward. And part of that business is collecting payments. Okay, you have to collect payments without having to physically pass cash or a card back and forth, right? With payments, the texts get open. I don't know if you know this, a quick stat, but 99% of text messages are opened, okay? 90% of them are opened within 2 minutes. Now think of your own personal habits. I guarantee there's hardly anything outstanding in your message inbox, and most of them are open pretty quickly. Compare that with email. That's why we use texting. It's a lot more efficient. Close deals faster, more often by using this text sales channel, okay? Re-engage with customers, nurture your current and past customers as well. But payment is something that you have to use, especially when there's no face-to-face. Now, we're not saying here at Podium that this is the only way you do it. We actually don't prefer that because rates are a little bit higher with no what is that, contact with contact, what is that called? Card not present transactions. That's what
Card not present, that's it.
Yeah, card not present transactions. Those percentages are higher than a card present transaction. This is available for customers who can't physically come in contact with you, or you're looking for things that aren't going to come in anyway. So let's shoot them a text message to collect payments, okay? Like I said, we're not trying to revamp what you're doing. You need to keep that point of sale, but I'm just saying this is a great way for you to do it outside, especially with the new social distancing measures that are in place. Now, another cool thing about all of this is you start to become a trusted contact in their phone. Okay, now if you're able to deliver a convenient, seamless customer experience through interactions online, messaging, all of a sudden you become their jeweler, not just a jeweler, because you're taking care of them from start to finish. If it's seamless, if it's convenient, if it's frictionless, I guarantee they're going to go back to you in their phone. And if your text messaging thread is already there and they saved your name, when somebody comes back, I guarantee they're going to come back to your store. We've seen it 100 times with our jewelers. is because it's so dang convenient. Why would they do anything else? Okay. If something needs repaired, it's so convenient to text my local jeweler to get it fixed, that pay through a text message thread and then go in and just pick it up real quick, right? Or to get more things through anniversaries. You become a trusted contact in their phone and business will continue on. Okay, which brings us around to close things up here. And I appreciate you guys being on this call. Like I said, we try to make it short, convenient, and hopefully you can take some good tips away. But local businesses play a huge role in our society as a whole. Always remember that. Now, during these difficult times, we want to do what we can do to help buoy them up. Okay, now just because people are staying in their houses more often these days, it doesn't mean that your business has to stop. Okay, Podium works with thousands of local businesses to help modernize how they interact with their customers and even allow them to navigate the entire customer journey online or on their mobile device without a single in-person interaction. Now, this starts with reviews. Okay, Podium makes it easy for businesses to collect reviews via text message, which can impact where businesses rank on the local SEO and influence purchasing decision. Okay, we do the same thing when we're looking at products online. It influences our purchasing decision. It's the same thing with customers looking at your stores. Okay, next, consumers can connect with your business via your web chat widget, that website, right, that allows you to contact your customer, to be in communication with your channels. Also Facebook Messenger, right, to communicate with them through there, all in one internal inbox. We have a team chat feature that allows you to collaborate internally, and the payments, which is our newest product, allows you to seamlessly collect payments via text message. Post-purchase, you can ask for another review. And once that review comes in, another customer will see it, and it's a circle of life within a customer journey, okay? Now we've given you 4 ways you can create a 100% digital customer journey online. It's up to you to actually enact it and move forward with it. So I hope this helped.
And here's just a review of what we went over. Like Jason was saying, 1, focus on the online experience. A huge part of that is online reviews. They help you get found. Once you get found, make sure you're opening and communicating in customers' preferred channels so it's convenient, frictionless, and efficient for them. And you can use these channels to build a relationship with them and also collect payments via text or app. So, like Jason was saying, we really want to do what we can to help local businesses at this time, especially when things are much different than anyone is used to. So we hope these tips have helped. We hope you can try them out and that they work for you. If you do try them out and something works great, or you have a question, or you have you want more information or something, feel free to reach out to us at any of the ways on the screen. We would love to hear from you and to be a resource for you here during this time especially. So our website is podium.com. You can text or call us at 1-833-276-3486, or you can email us at webinars@podium.com. We'll make sure that your story or your question gets to the right person, and we would love to hear from you. So with that, we're going to turn it back over and see if we had any questions come in from the audience.
All right, thank you so much. We do have a couple of questions ready to go. First question, what has been the most successful thing businesses have done throughout the pandemic during this time?
You want to take that, Haley?
Yeah, for sure. I would say the most successful thing that businesses have done during this time would be to probably listen to their customers and adapt to what they're wanting. We've talked about a lot of things during this presentation about what businesses have done and can do to adapt, but I would definitely say adapting to what your customers are wanting, and especially right now, turning as much of the journey digital as possible is really what's pushing businesses forward. I don't know, Jason, if you've seen something specific with jewelry stores, either in the US or in Canada, what they've been doing, but in general, all businesses, I would say moving digitally and opening communication channels, just giving customers the information that they want and they need by opening those channels that are convenient and giving them the information.
Yeah, to that I would also add, yes, I've seen, especially on the payment side, I've had many customers come to me, hey, Podium's been a life center when it comes to collecting payments, continuing the journey. We also have a video chat feature where they can actually video conference with clients. So it's been a heaven sent that way to them, as it's kind of quote unquote what they've mentioned to me. But also one thing that I see is also that businesses that are not trying to survive this thing, but to adapt and be better, right? Those businesses are doing a lot better than other businesses. And when we come out of this pandemic, they're going to be ahead of a lot of businesses. One thing that we know when the pandemics hit or economic disaster hits is those who survive the storm tend to come out stronger than before. And it's because, you know, they have a mentality. It's like, I can't just hunker down and try to survive this thing. I have to adapt and thrive, right? So as a business, if you're not doing that, I would recommend to start finding ways to thrive during this time, because you'll just come out way ahead when this pandemic is over.
And our next question relates to communication. How do we go about setting up messaging for a business?
Yeah, I can take that one. That's a great question. Obviously, Jason and I are both from Podium, and we may be a little bit biased, but Podium's a great option to set up messaging for your business. There are some free options out there, specifically, you know, setting up. You can have a phone that you can send messages to, text messaging to. You can open up the Facebook Messenger to enable that. You can enable that direct messages on Instagram, and you can also set up a Google My Business texting option if you do have a textable number. You know, now with that said, you will need to log into each of those separately and manage them individually, whereas, you know, Podium can help you set those up and then bring them all into one place. So we'd love to talk to whoever asked that question and see if Podium's a good fit, but we would definitely say that Podium would be the best option for setting up messaging.
And our next question, could this, I suppose the pandemic, could this be the catalyst for a permanent change as to how consumers prefer to do business even once COVID-19 is over? Kind of similar how to the way to the onset of Amazon as a better way.
I can cover that. I truly believe, like I mentioned at the very beginning of our webinar, customer preferences were already changing before the pandemic. This just this changed it overnight, right? So I do believe that customers, they still will want that in-person, face-to-face interaction, but they also want to make it a lot smoother than it was before. So when I talk about, you know, making it super easy to communicate with you, those three things, when it comes to frictionless, convenience, efficiency, they're going to want to see that even after the pandemic. They wanted to see it before it. It's just going to put this into hyperdrive. So is it going to change? Yes, I truly believe things will change. And I think it's going to be for the best for everyone, right? Us as consumers as well. When we reach out to companies, we want efficiency. Like, we don't want to sit there calling a company and then not hearing back for 5 hours. We want efficiency. I want to message a business and then get back to me within 10 minutes or an hour, right? I want it quickly. And I think this is going to make just the overall environment better. But yes, I do believe it's going to change going forward.
And I think that, just to add on to what Jason was saying, I think catalyst is a perfect word for what this is, you know, doing for local businesses and customers. There was actually a study done that Goldman Sachs conducted over in China, specifically around Starbucks that were based in China. And China's a little bit farther along the COVID-19 process, I guess you could call it, than the US and Canada right now. And so what this research was studying was the number of orders to Starbucks that were placed via messaging before, during, and quote unquote after the peak of the pandemic happened. So before COVID-19 hit, it was about 15% of orders were placed via messaging. So, you know, a pretty small amount. During the peak of COVID-19, that number jumped to about 80% of messages. So a huge spike in orders were placed via messaging. And then once that peak came down a little bit, that number dropped to 50%. So the number did come down, but it didn't drop nearly as far as it was before COVID-19 hit. Now we'll need to keep watching that study and see how things change going forward with COVID-19 until it's over, you know, whenever that's going to be. So, but that's a great example of things not going back to normal. People are going to love this convenience. Like Jason was saying, people were wanting this before COVID-19 hit anyway. People were wanting convenient, frictionless, and efficient interactions and journeys with businesses. So with COVID-19, I definitely think that things aren't going to go back necessarily to the way that they were before. That's a great question.
All right, thank you to you both. That's all the questions we have time for today. For any that we didn't capture from our audience, we'll see if we can get them answered for you from Jason and Haley via email. The email's on the screen right there. So once again, thank you to Jason and Haley, as well as to Podium for a great presentation. As a reminder, a recording of the complete webinar will be available on the webinar section of jewelrybusiness.com 1 week from now. We'll also send you a link to the recording via email. That'll go out to all attendees. Thank you to everyone who attended today. Before you go, please take a few minutes to give us your feedback by completing our webinar survey. It should appear on your browser after you close the webinar. And have a great afternoon, everyone, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.